Okay, I welcome all of you to the lecture Advanced Software Engineering and Technology. Today we will see activities, different type of activities we are going to discuss in today's lecture. Just tell me, is this presentation visible to you?
Yes.
Okay. Requirement elicitation activities. In previous lecture we have already discussed some of the activities from this presentation. Like we have already discussed on identifying actors, identifying scenarios, and today we will discuss the identifying use cases. After that we will discuss the refining use cases, identifying relationship among the actors and use cases, identifying initial analysis object, identifying non-functional requirement. All these we will see step by step. We know identifying actors. Actor represent external entities that interact with the system. Suppose this sat watch is a system, then all these are the actors. We have to identify that into the particular system. Those people, person, or organization interact with the system, that is called as actor. Here is the watch owner is the actor. Here Webify watch, this is the system, external system required to sat watch. Suppose we have a satellite watch. That watch automatically take the update from satellite. Then in that case this Webify watch is the another system, and that take the uh, this Webify watch connect to the sat watch. So this is external system. External system also we can say actor. Similarly GPS is also actor. And after this we have discussed many examples, and in some lectures we already discussed about the identifying actors. We have seen example of database subsystem. After this actor we have discussed about identifying scenario. A scenario is a narrative description of what people do and experience as they try to make use of computer system and application, which is given to us by Carlon in 1995. Scenario means narrative description of what people experience, what people do. Suppose you want to design a system, you want to design a software, then first of all what you will do, which component you will do, that is the scenario. Suppose for a user you have created a system, then first initial stage actor initiates some activity. That activity is the scenario. Narrative description of that story is the scenario. Scenario means a theme, a story, and the name of that story is the use cases. We will also see today's lecture what is the use cases. How to identify scenario we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Scenario name there were warehouse fire on fire. Warehouse on fire. This is one incident. In this scenario there were Bob, Alice as a field officer, and John dispatcher. These two persons were engaged in this scenario in this story. This all is the scenario. The name of this scenario is warehouse on fire. Warehouse on fire. In this scenario, the flow of event is Bob driving down Main Street in his patrol car. Notice smoke coming out of a warehouse. His partner Alice activates the report emergency function from the friend software from her laptop. Uh, Bob not doing anything. Bob is just driving the car, and her friend Alice. Alice activate a report emergency function from her laptop. She has a laptop. From her laptop she has created one emergency, and after that what happened, uh, Alice entered the detailed information in the friend software. Friend is the software which is installed into the laptop, Alice laptop, and in that friend software, Alice entering the address of the building, brief description of its location, and emergency level, how much problem is there. In addition to a fire unit, she requests several paramedical units on the scene. She requested uh, through the friend software to the doctor, to the paramedical unit, to the policeman, all. And given that era appeared to the relatively busy, she confirmed her input and wait for acknowledgement. She submitted, and she is waiting for getting the acknowledgement from the friend software. After that, what happened? Dispatcher John dispatcher is alert to the emergency by a beep. He got beep from his system, his workstation. He reviewed the information submitted by Alice and acknowledged the report and sent to the he allocate a fire unit and two paramedical unit to the incident site and sent their estimated arrival time to Alice. Alice received acknowledgement. After this, Alice received the acknowledgement. This is one scenario. We can say this is one of the scenario. Warehouse on fire. Okay. Scenario can have many different uses during the requirement elicitation and during the activity. On the life cycle, below is a selected number of scenario type taken from the Carlos 1995's book. You see there are some types of a scenario. As is scenario. As is scenario describe a current situation. Suppose we are describing current situation, then as is scenario we can say. During the re-engineering, for example, the current system is understood by observing user and describing their action as a scenario, then that is the as is scenario. This scenario can then be valid for correctness and accuracy with the users. Another type of scenario is visionary scenario. Describe future system. Visionary scenario are used both as a point in the modeling space by the developer as they refine their idea of the future system and as a communication. Just a minute, hold on. Visionary scenario means a future system. Visionary scenario are used both as a point of view in modeling space by the developer as they refine their idea of the future system as a communication medium to elicit requirement from user. How in future we will be acquire the information from the user. For that we have to initiate, we have to start the visionary scenario. Visionary scenario can be viewed as inexpensive prototype. Next is the evaluation scenario. Evaluation scenario describe the task again which the system is to be evaluated. For evaluate the system, evaluation scenario we have to use the collaborative development of evaluation scenario by user and developer, also improve the definition of the functionality tested by this scenario. In this scenario what happen, we have to test by user to our system, and from that user will evaluate some things, our system is working properly or not. If there is a problem, there is lacuna in that system, then that is the evaluation scenario. For that we have to provide first evaluation scenario, we have to utilize in a evaluation scenario into the software development process, so that user will be evaluate our software. He will collaborate for development with the developer. Another type of scenario is the training scenario, or the tutorial used for introducing new user to the system. This training scenario is the we have to apply, we have to provide some document about the software, how to use this software in the form of manual, in the form of a help we have to provide document, and also we have to provide some training to the user into the training scenario. How we will provide the training, we have to write that into the training scenario. These are step-by-step instructions designed to hands-on the user through the common task. Suppose first start the system, then go to the file menu, then take the new button. Like this step-by-step explanation we have to give to the user into the software. This is the training scenario. In the requirement elicitation, developer and user write and refine series of scenario in order to gain share understanding of what the system should be. Initially, each scenario may be high level and incomplete, as the warehouse fire on fire scenario. We have seen one example of on fire scenario. Similar type is there. Each scenario may be high level, incomplete. The following questions can be used for identifying scenario. For identifying scenario, we have to use which event, what are the tasks that the actor want to system to perform. Suppose we have one actor as a watch user, then what he can perform, he can see the time, he can set the time, he can see the date, he can set the date. Watch user, he means actor. This is the story. First of all, what will be initiated by the actor, that all story is the scenario. What information does the actor access, what information does the actor access, who create that idea, and can it be modified or removed, by whom it will be removed or modified. These are the scenario type of questions. To identify the scenario, we have to ask such type of a scenario, such type of questions. Which external changes does the actor need to be informed the system about? how often and when, like this. Which event does the system need to inform the actor? With what latency? Means suppose actor wants to create event, then which event does the system need to inform to the actor about? With what latency? How much time in suppose there are two events, two activities, then how much latency should be there into the after initiating the process by the user. We know developer use existing document about the application domain to answer these questions. These document include the user manual. As a developer, we have a document about the existing system. Suppose there is already software in particular company and we have to give another new software to that company, then we have to take the information from previous software, how the previous software was working. There may be a document about previous software, existing software. We have to take that existing software for answer such type of a question. These document includes user manual, previous system, procedure manual, company standard, user notes and cheat sheets, user and client interviews. Likewise, developers should always write a scenario using the application domain terms as opposed to their own terms. As developer gain further insight into the application domain and the possibilities of the available technology, they iteratively and incrementally refine scenario to include increasing amount of detail. Drawing user interface mockups often help to find omission in the specific and to build a more concrete picture of the system. Suppose there is something extra information available into previous software. As a developer, we have to omit that information, we have to minimize that information and provide the useful information only. In the friend example, friend is a software. In the friend example, we have identified 4 scenarios that span the type of task the system is expected to support. Warehouse on fire. There were one example we have seen in figure 4.6. A fire is detected in a warehouse. Two field officers arrive at the scene and request resources. fenderBender. A car incident without casualties occur on the highway. Police officer document the incident and manage traffic while the damaged vehicle are towed away. And also cat in a tree. A cat in a truck in a tree. A fire truck is a call to retrieve the cat because the incident is low priority. The fire truck taken time to arrive at the scene. In the meantime, the impatient cat won't climb the tree and fall and break a leg, requiring an ambulance to be dispatched. Like these scenarios, there are some stories about the how to write the scenarios. Again, one another example like earthquake. An unprecedented earthquake seriously damaged buildings and roads, spanning multiple incidents and triggering the activations of statewide emergency operations span. The governor is notified. Road damage hamper incident responses. Like these scenarios, we have to write the emphasis for developers during the actor identification and scenario identification is to understand the application domain. We have to understand for which software we are going to design. Then easily we will be able to identify the actors and identify the scenarios. This result is sheer understanding of the scope of the system and of the user work process to be supported. Once developers have identified and described actors and scenario, they formulate scenario into use cases. As a developer, if we have identified and described the actors and scenario, then we can formalize that scenario. If you have any doubt, any questions regarding the scenario, you can ask me questions. Otherwise, we will move towards the today's point, that is identifying use cases. Just we revise identifying actors and identifying scenario. Yes, do you have any question? Prajakta, Jyoti, Abhijit?
No, sir.
Then today we are going to discuss about again identifying use cases. We know a scenario is an instance of use cases. Scenario is an instance of use cases. Scenario means, in previous example we have seen warehouse on fire. In that story what happened? There was Alice and Bob in a car. What happened? There happened one accident of car, and then Alice created one emergency. This story is the use case, and scenario is what? On warehouse on fire. Warehouse on fire. We will take this example again in detail. That is, a use case specifies all possible scenario for a given piece of functionality. A use case is initiated by an actor. Who can initiate use case? By actor. Suppose we are a software user, then all we will become a actor. And what we will do? We will initiate the use cases. Use cases means something we will do, and that our task will be the use case. As a software user, suppose you want to fill one online application form, then you will fill all your details like a name, date of birth, address. All these activity will be the use case. After its initiation, a use case may be interact within other actor. Once we have created, suppose, use case, then one use case will interact with other actor, use case, or other actor. A use case represent complete flow of event. Suppose what he want to do, then what task he will perform. After that, if there is another use case depends upon this use case, then it will connect, and he, suppose this person will respond to again him. Like this, all flow, complete flow of event through the system in the scene, that is describe a series of related interactions that result from its initiation. Use case represent complete flow of event. Use case, this is these two use cases are there, and these two use cases can complete flow of event describe us. We have figure 4.7. This depicts the use case report emergency, of which the scenario warehouse on fire. We have scenario. Which scenario we have? Warehouse on fire. We have already discussed in previous example, warehouse on fire. Okay, what happened in this warehouse on fire? Here one use case will be created. The use case name is report emergency. We'll see in figure 4.6 is an instances. The field officer actor initiate this use case by activating the report emergency. Report emergency is created by a field officer. Joy is a field officer in that example. Function of a friend. Friend is a software. In this software there is a function, report emergency function is there, and that report emergency function is activated by, suppose, one Joy, field officer. The use case complete when the field officer actor receive acknowledgment that an incident has been created. You know, there is Alice. Alice is a field officer and she has created a report emergency use case. And after that she will send the field officer actor receive acknowledgement that incident has been created. The step in the flow of event are intended to denote who initiate the step. Step 1 and step 3 are initiated by the actor, while step 4 are initiated by the system. There are 4 steps. First step initiated by field officer. Alice initiated. What initiated by her? Report emergency. And after that, system given in step 4. System given the acknowledgement to the field officer. This use case is general and encompasses a range of a scenario. For example, the report emergency use case could also apply to fenderBender scenario. Use cases can be written at varying level of detail as in the case of scenario. Are you getting my point? Use cases and scenario.
Yes, sir.
You see example identifying use cases. Here is the name of use case. Report emergency. A participating actor in this report emergency initiated by field officer. The name of field officer is, who is the field officer? Alice. Alice is field officer and communicate with dispatcher. Communicate with dispatcher. Flow of event. We will see the flow of event how it is. First, there are 1, 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 steps are there. Okay, and flow of event. First step is the field officer activate the report emergency function of her terminal. She will initiate the report emergency from her terminal, from her laptop. Then friend responds by presenting a form of a field to the field officer. Alice is the field officer and he will get, after report emergency creating, friend software will give her a form, and in that form, like this form, software form, friend is a software. After opening that software, their field officer will get some fields like this form: name, address, location, and like this. The field officer complete the form by selecting the emergency level. There will be the emergency level. If that accident is very big, then high risk will be there. If that is a minor accident, then low level is there. Like that, field officers should be select the levels, which type of accident is there, and type, location, and brief description about the situation. In this form, field officer should describe the situation. The field officer also describe the possible responses to the emergency situation. Once the form is completed, the field officer submit the form. In the software, there is the submit button. In friend software, their field officer should, after completing this form, should press this button. Okay. Then friend receive the form. Then this software will receive the information, and the form notified the dispatcher. The dispatcher receive the submitted information and create incident in the database by invoking the open incident use case. Now this dispatcher will open incident use case, another use case, open incident use case. The dispatcher select response and acknowledgement to the report. To this form, he will provide the acknowledgement. Yes, we have got the information from the field officer, and he will send the acknowledgement to them, as well as some report, how much time and which type of help we will do. You see in this step 6, the friend display the acknowledgement and the selected response to the field officer. Field officer, after submitting these form, after some times, after some instance, he will get response from the dispatcher, from the through the friend software. Another entry condition. This is the flow of event. Got it? Flow of event.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The entry condition. The field officer is lodged into friend. Field officer. What happened? What done by field officer? Field officer lodged into friend. He entered into the friend software. Then exit condition. Exit condition is the field officer has received an acknowledgement and the selected responses from the dispatcher, or there may be the field officer has received an explanation incident why the transactions could not be processed. There are two possibilities to the entry exit condition. In exit condition, field officer may get the detailed information from the dispatcher, how much time required to come there to find out the to help to the field officer, or there may be chance to system failure, transactions could not be completed. Means if there is any other error, if there is no network, then like this information may be get at the exit condition. Quality requirement. Next is the quality requirement. The field officer report is acknowledged within 30 seconds. Suppose in 30 seconds he get the acknowledgement. This is the quality, good quality of the software. The selected response arrive no later than the 30 second after it is sent by the dispatcher. Dispatcher is the system automatically responds to the field officer. Within how much time our helping team like police and the paramedical unit will reach at the incident within a 30 second. If it is reaching, then that is the good quality of software, the performance of software is good. All this is the use case. Report emergency. The report emergency is the name of use case, and detail about this report emergency use case is this story. If we want to develop software for any company, organization or institute, then we have to also create such type of use cases. We have to write the stories, who will start the software and how much time will require to respond them, to acknowledge them from our software. All that we have to write. This is the use case. The name of this figure is 4.7, an example of use case. Report emergency. Under the report emergency, the left column denote the actor action and the right column denote the system response. These are the system response and these are the actor denotes. Yes, is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Generalizing the scenario and identifying the high level use case that the system must support enable developers to define the scope of the system. Suppose you are generalizing, you are discussing more on the scenario. You know the scenario and you are discussing with the user, with the developer on the scenario. What happened there? You will identify the high level of use cases from generalizing the scenario, generalizing the story. You will get more use cases from that, and it must support enable to developers. It must support as a developer to us for define the scope of a system, how system scope will be, how useful our system, that we can get more clear by generalizing the scenario, by talking about the scenario. Initially, developers name use cases, attach them to the initiating actors, and provide high level description of the use cases as in figure 4.7 we have seen. The name of use case should be a verb phrase denoting what the actor is trying to accomplish. For giving to the name to the use case, we have to use verb phrase which denoted what the actor is trying to accomplish, what actor will try to accomplish. Means suppose we want to access the ATM machine, then we will become a actor, user of that system. What we want to do? We want to withdraw money or we want to deposit money into ATM machine. Can we withdraw money into ATM machine or can we deposit money into ATM machine? My question is to you: is it possible to deposit money into ATM machine? Yes?
No, sir.
No. There are some CDMA machines. In that we can deposit money. Have you seen CDMA? To
No, sir.
deposit money. Have you seen ATM machine to withdraw the money?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have a specific task as a user. Okay. Suppose you have ATM card and you want to take the money from ATM machine. Then what you will do? Then what you will do? You will reach at the ATM machine and you will insert your ATM card into the machine and place the password, username and all necessary fields. All this is the flow of event. But what is the name of this event? What is the name for this event? Means withdrawing money. We can give the name withdrawing money as a use case. You see, there are two types of ATM machines, CDMA and ATM. Okay, we can withdraw money, we can deposit money. Two tasks we can perform in the same machine, but these two tasks are the different. So we can say first one is the withdraw money use case and another one is the deposit money use case. The tasks are somewhat different. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
The verb phrase report emergency. In the given example, there is report emergency use case. The name is given. It indicates that an actor is attempting to report emergency. This name is itself indicating us there is some emergency to the system, and hence to the dispatcher actor. This use case is not called record emergency. You see, this emergency is not a record emergency. Suppose there is record emergency, then just it will fill up the information from the user and it will be stored into the system. But this is the report emergency. Then dispatcher. Dispatcher means the machine. System should send the acknowledgement to the report emergency creators. There are two type of use cases in this exam: record emergency and report emergency. So we have to, because the name should be reflect the perspective of the actor, not the system. It is also not called attempt to report an emergency. There is also not, we can give the name attempt to report an emergency. We have to give report emergency, because the name should reflect the goal of the use cases, not the actual activity. By the name itself, we have to able to identify the name of use cases, not the function of use case. Okay. Attaching use case to initiating actor enable developers to clarify the roles of the different users, often by focusing on who initiate each use case. Developer identify new actors that have been previously overlooked. So today we will stop here. If you have any questions regarding the small introduction about the use cases, you can ask. In next lecture we will see again detail in use cases. Yes, Jyoti, do you have any question?
No, sir.
Abhijit, Prajakta,
No, sir.
then okay, we will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day.